How's it going, everyone? Namaste. Today's video is called The Five Hindrances, or The Five Storms of Buddha. And they are five things about us as humans in the world we live in and our experience here that can cause us grief, pain, sorrow, frustration, fear, anxiety. These are all things I've experienced quite often in my life before, and I find myself as I was doing a yoga class maybe about a month ago, the teacher talked about these five storms of Buddha, and there's definitely elements of Buddhism that resonate highly with me, especially learning to be calm in a storm, to be detached, to be at peace, and to learn self-mastery. I'm by no means there. I struggle with these five hindrances I'm about to describe, these storms of Buddhism or Buddha. So I will go over them now and talk about it, because the change in my life situation very much has brought these to the forefront as challenges for me. So the first hindrance is sensual desire. So that's anything that gives our senses pleasure, from touch to taste to smell to sound to the thoughts we think, all of these various things. And when my last relationship ended, I lost a lot of this, because I'm all of a sudden alone now, and I have been that way since the end of my relationship. And so to go from constant love and affection and communication and connectedness to kind of an instant being alone is very much a shock to the system. And I've been trying to figure out, how do I overcome this? And the advice given online is to realize the impermanence of everything. I am impermanent. Everyone else on this earth is impermanent. My mom passed away about almost 4 years ago now. My youngest sister passed away. I will pass away. Any woman in the future that I form a relationship with will pass away. Any woman that I formed a relationship with in the past will pass away, probably not at the same time as me. So there isn't an impermanence aspect that makes sense to this, but I will also add that the only thing that's helped me or helping me to overcome this is to go into a temporary monk mode. And that doesn't mean I go to a monastery and become a monk, but it means I forego physical intimacy with women and discipline myself as a monk living in modern day. That's what I've done, is to just completely cut myself off from rekindling the things that I used to have when I was in a relationship, and to allow my body to kind of reset itself, reset its dopamine and pleasure receptors, because there is an element of now being on my own where I have to go through the period of kind of a drug withdrawal. Other people that come into our lives, when the situation ends, there is a withdrawal period that happens and takes a while to get over. So those are the two things that are helping me overcome the sensual desire hindrance. The next hindrance is ill will or anger. Certainly where I sit right now, being alone, there's a part of me that's frustrated and angry at myself and angry at the situation and how things played out. But the antidote to this is compassion and acceptance. If you're angry at yourself or other people, you have to realize that we are all humans here doing the best we can with what we have and who we are. Every human is trying to avoid pain. There's not many humans that are putting their hands on a hot stove or kicking a wall with a bare foot to stub their toe, or injuring themselves on purpose, unless there's some kind of sadisticness in that human and they're doing it for a reason or belief. But for the most part, we're all trying to navigate this world and have good experiences and do the best we can. And so my anger and frustration is quelled when I have compassion and acceptance and surrender, which I'm still working on. I have not fully surrendered yet, but I'm making progress. I can feel it. My blood pressure's coming down. My heart rate's coming down. I'm starting to sleep in longer blocks of time. I think 2 nights ago I slept for 4 hours in one block during the night. So that's a realization to me that things are improving. I will know that I've fully surrendered when I can sleep 5 or 6 hours in a large block without waking up. It will mean my mind has settled and come to peace and acceptance of things exactly as they are. But that surrender and acceptance just takes time. And it takes discipline, and it takes a complete cutting myself off completely from anything that would cause me to relapse or have those drug withdrawals. I've literally had to not look at any picture or video or past text or anything that would give me any reminder or indication of my last relationship. And that's been incredibly hard for me to do, but that's an important step to get to that acceptance, which will quell any anger or frustration. So we have sensual desire, we have ill will. Let's go to the next hindrance. And the third hindrance is apathy or laziness. And we all have moments where we have low energy, or at least I do, and it's hard to move around and do anything. But if this becomes kind of a central theme to life, this apathy will destroy you. Your body will literally be taken by life itself to the grave if apathy and laziness is your core way of being. But sometimes there's events or illnesses and things that make it very hard to not rest all the time. Like in 2018 and early 2019, I was very sick with Lyme disease, and I couldn't do very much, and I had to focus all my efforts on getting better. So what's the antidote to this? It's any little thing you can do. Lift up your arm, go open a window, go walk outside, override this feeling and move your body. Go sign up for a gym, go just move your body and get in motion, no matter what it takes. And if you can't do that, then work on overcoming whatever's preventing you from moving and getting into motion. And if your body's in a state where you're paralyzed or something like that, then that's a tough one. How do you overcome that? I think you just do the best you can with what you have. That's basically it. But this was a tough one. Like last night, I went to bed at 10:30. I didn't get out of bed till about 9:20. I was pretty exhausted. Slept for about 4 or 5 hours, or 4 or 5 chunks of time. So I woke up 4 or 5 times. But the apathy and laziness, it's very easy to just let life take us. And the key is to keep moving, keep working, keep progressing, and to not let yourself stay inactive. So the fourth hindrance is anxiousness. And this has probably been the biggest one that's been a struggle for me since I'm now on my own again. My brain has thought so many things, so many different things, trying to put puzzle pieces together of what caused things to happen the way they did, and to come to a better understanding and realization. And the gist of it is that I can never know the whole truth. There's no way for me to know the whole truth. And I have to accept that I don't know everything, and that I am finite, and to just be at peace with that. But I've done a lot of digging, a lot of researching for hours upon hours to try to understand my situation and why things happened the way they did. And that's an antidote for anxiousness, because knowledge is power, knowledge is confidence. My going to martial arts and learning self-defense and firearms and weightlifting and yoga and getting my body not just strong and flexible, but skilled and capable of defending itself is is an antidote to anxiousness, because now I'm starting to gain knowledge about people in the world, and things that might cause me anxiety in the past no longer do. And I'll keep doing those things. If you're having anxiety at a job, the key is to get better educated and better skilled at the work you're doing. Learn to network better with people. The antidote to anxiousness really is knowledge and skills, because that's what the world demands of us as people. It's a very, in that way, the world is very black and white. The world demands value from us for our careers and what we do and the people we interact with, and an anxiousness about a past relationship is a lot of journaling. I've done a lot of journaling, and I kind of have a statement of acceptance that I've written in my journal. It's this small paragraph of text. I call it my statement of acceptance, and it basically says, this is the reality of the situation, just in very plain terms, and here's how things are, and they're going to be. And one of these days I may read that statement to you, but it is kind of my yep, this is the way things are, and as I move forward, this is how I have to move forward with this truth, and that this is the way things are now. So that's anxiousness. You overcome that by, another thing about that is the yoga and meditation really help with anxiousness, and deep breathing. And I take a beet powder supplement, which helps lower my blood pressure. But anxiousness is just time, meditation, yoga, knowledge, skills. Because generally when we get anxious, it's because we lack knowledge or skill in an area. And so we're stressed and anxious. It's our body's way of saying, hey, you've got a gap here. The last one is doubt. I also struggle with this one. Every single one of these hindrances I struggle with, and doubt is no different. Doubt is a lack of belief in ourselves and our abilities, and the antidote to that is similar to anxiousness, that is to increase our skills and to seek knowledge and understanding, and to let time be the great healer and the great revealer. I truly believe that time is a very powerful thing in the world. It will heal and it will reveal. Heal means just wounds of the past will heal, just like our wounds and scratches and cuts that we get today. That if you get a cut, your body will heal it. And if you're confused about something and you've done all you can to understand it and you still don't understand it, then you just have to give time. You have to let time be the great revealer. And if it is something that you're meant to know and understand, given enough time, whether that's days, weeks, months, years, or decades even, the truth will come to light of a situation. I truly believe that. There's been situations where I was like, well, I'm never going to understand this. And then many, many months later, I got complete clarity from someone, or a reveal happened. So just when you think that you're never going to understand something and you surrender, that's the time that God and the universe will reveal truth to you, because you're now in a position to accept it, because you don't need it anymore. Life has a way of giving us things only when we no longer need them. It's kind of an interesting phenomenon. So that's doubt, the final hindrance of the 5 hindrances, storms of Buddha. And these have been things that I'm working hard on. I'm working daily on these, and I know that overcoming these 5 hindrances will put me on a path to not just getting back to where I was, but to being a next greater version of myself. And that's the goal now, is to shore up all the things about me that need improving from this last beautiful relationship I had, that I still think about. I still think about it regularly. I have not stopped. And I know eventually that intense thinking about it will start to die down. I felt the intense emotions starting to die down. they're now like little embers burning in me versus a roaring fire, but they're still there. And eventually those will burn out. And eventually all the mental processing that I meant to do will burn out. And then it will be just the memories, the deep, fond memories in me of the situation. And my hope is that for all people involved, that there will be betterment for all, betterment and love for all, and peace. And that I'll be able to overcome these 5 hindrances I've talked about. And if you're struggling with them, that hopefully something I said here today will help you. So that's it for this video. Y'all are appreciated. The 5 hindrances, storms of Buddha, some of the most difficult things to overcome, but some of the most rewarding things to overcome as well. Namaste. See you in the next video.